the problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if be the CEO goes, you know what, I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Yeah, Wednesday, everyone. Well, not if you're Whoopi Goldberg, AKA Karen Johnson. Yeah, who knew Whoopi was a Karen? I thought that was only for white people, like Toyota Priuses and skiing. Roll it, Francis.
Good morning and welcome to The View. You all saw the news. Whoopi will be back here in 2 weeks. Okay?
Oh, it's so cute when one of their side gets punished. They sulk like they ran out of raw cookie dough in the green room.
What happens when Tyrus supports Greg Gutfeld's witty remarks and Whoopi Goldberg expresses her own? Complete anarchy. In a single moment, Whoopi makes a valid point, but then she gets a lot of negative feedback from the public, and her argument isn't the only one that fails. This isn't your average talk show debate. Rather, it's a viral moment that has everyone talking and is full of unexpected humor.
BBC suspended Whoopi for 2 weeks because she said the Holocaust had nothing to do with race. She said this on a show called The View, which makes everything about race. Except now.
The Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
It's about a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
Yeah, that's heroically stupid. Even for the...
This time, however, it backfired in a surprising way, as she was the one who was criticized and even ridiculed, surprising many of her own supporters. Whoopi Goldberg, a prominent voice on daytime TV, transformed what should have been a straightforward political discussion into a dramatic, perplexing moment full of contradictions.
Canada, apparently they're throwing tariffs on manatee meat and bovine semen, which means The View is very unhappy.
Not even that. In The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. Mm-hmm. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler? What's her name? The broke-ass Bette Midler. Fire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being...
That's correct, if that doesn't tell you how things have changed. Let's back up for a moment. On a typical day on The View, where facts are frequently ignored, accountability is rarely shown, and outrage is just part of the script, Whoopi Goldberg looked fired up as if she were being forced to defend common sense in a debate she never agreed to join. Goldberg took a serious hit from Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld, and they didn't even need to appear on The View to do it.
Yesterday on The View, otherwise known as Hell's DMV, Whoopi Goldberg asked how much different are the values of the Trump administration from the Taliban.
We have a leader who has repeatedly demeaned women, wants to defund organizations that benefit women, calling on the media to shut up, specifically wants to give preferential treatment based on religion. Are these values really much different than the Taliban's?
Wow. Talk about groundbreaking to actually hear a celebrity say something mean about the Taliban. How dare they compare them to Trump? The Taliban should sue. Guess they ran out of Hitler analogies. So as they bash the president, I'm reminded how entertainers rarely express any rage over any strand of misogynist Islamism. If they did, we might take their rage toward Trump seriously.
It was typical perspective drama, but outside of that bubble, the internet had different ideas on its late-night show. Whoopi Goldberg went off again, this time claiming that anyone who disagreed with her must be a threat to democracy. Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld replied without shouting, only direct conversation and witty banter. Gutfeld's sardonic wit pierced through the cacophony, delivering a blow more potent than any of Whoopi's typical one-liners.
On The View, all right, talking about Latinos. Watch this, Tyrus.
Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the, no,
That's
it's on
why.
the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
So-
they were begging people to care about it for years.
Misogyny
We need to
and
take some
sexism.
lessons.
That's what that was.
Misogyny and sexism.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been a closer election.
This time, Whoopi Goldberg went off after Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld exposed the hypocrisy of Hollywood. Although Gutfeld didn't specifically mention her, his criticism of celebrity commentators struck a chord. Tyrus then used a scathing metaphor that undermined Whoopi's authority. Whoopi answered with theatrical flair as though it were a personal attack, even though it didn't occur on The View. However, this is her typical tactic: snark and worn-out indignation without any debate. Because Tyrus and Gutfeld are honest, frank, and humorous, more people are watching them.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
The long sigh and dramatic pause that Whoopi Goldberg uses whenever she is questioned, as if hearing another viewpoint is simply too much, is, indeed, her signature move. The internet took note this time. Reddit came together to ridicule her most recent outburst, while YouTube comments raged and Twitter mocked. Her attempting to explain why disagreement is a threat while staring into the camera was captured in a video that went viral. Then came memes and possibly a t-shirt. It's nothing new. Whoopi has a history of odd opinions, ranging from impassioned tirades about free speech to defending a jailed filmmaker. For the first time, audiences are seeing through it.
Well, I'd just like to say that many people that I have tied to cars, I never ask them about their sexuality.
Thank you.
Never once.
And I'm usually progressive with you.
Happy Pride Month. Listen, I love... Whoopi's right. Yeah. I mean, it's been rough for us. I mean, you saw what just happened to me in the last segment. I'm trying to talk, and all the white people are like, "Hey, it's Tyrus. We'll make a phone call." And it's... How did it make you feel? I felt very black.
Do you feel black?
Whoopi Goldberg's recent tirade, which was shown on national television and combined elements of a Facebook tirade and a TED lecture, felt more like vanity than commentary. Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld, meanwhile, maintained their composure and allowed her argument fall apart naturally. Whoopi appears to be aware that her views aren't as popular as they once were, but rather than changing, she intensifies them. Sitting in a multi-million-dollar studio, responding to headlines like it's a social justice brunch, she says she speaks for regular Americans. And this isn't new. She has a tendency of making mistakes with economic data and changing her mind about moderates.
Do you feel black?
His word, Tyrus.
Yeah. By the way, thank God black people don't do that in audiences.
Yeah. No, we just talk the whole time and tell you how to do your show better. Oh, that's what I get paid. But it's only in America can a black person sit on a TV show getting paid millions and millions of dollars to have the floor and can interrupt people, because she interrupted her.
Yeah.
And if according to her, life was like in Iran, it was for black people, her interrupting and speaking in public would have led to a stoning. Yeah.
At this point, a Whoopi Goldberg meltdown seems like standard procedure. Smug smile, theatrical speech, audience clapping, and then her argument breaks down, particularly when someone like Tyrus or Gutfeld clearly lays out the facts. This time, they only called out celebrity disinformation rather than mentioning her by name. Whoopi, however, took it personally and reacted with resentment rather than introspection. She behaves as if being contested makes her a victim rather than a participant in a discussion. Admitting your mistakes is a sign of true courage. However, Whoopi continues to serve superficial takes while feigning depth.
You. It's like it's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Like it's like let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. So let me rephrase that. But you is a victim of the...
Greg Gutfeld uses witty humor, timing, and a composed voice to make his point without shouting. Tyrus cuts through the clamor to support him with direct speech. They just mentioned how shows like The View feel outdated. They didn't attack Whoopi or create a quarrel. However, Whoopi took it personally, transforming a straightforward criticism into a complete breakdown. Ironically, Tyrus and Gutfeld were exposing famous false information, not her. Her theatrical response and the co-hosts' praise of her as brave simply served to highlight the fact that these shows frequently aim for applause rather than candid discussion.
Brains are small, but who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter.
The View occasionally comes across as more of a support group for people with bruised egos than a talk show, and America isn't buying it. Even the most devoted viewers are abandoning social media. When every argument turns into a personal assault, viewers begin to doubt the broadcast itself. And then there's the hypocrisy. Whoopi Goldberg consistently contradicts herself, saying one thing with assurance and then the reverse as though no one was watching. Her defense of Mel Gibson in spite of his vicious tirade is a perfect example. It begs the question, are they merely defending their own interests, or is this a genuine conversation?
Makes Sonny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by The View's gravitational pull. All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show had?
Whoopi previously defended Mel Gibson, arguing that since he was kind to her, he couldn't be racist. She now gives talks on white privilege, emphasizing the importance of forgiving unless a friend in Hollywood says something offensive. When someone is criticized, she plays the victim and accuses them of right-wing hate, but she will cancel someone over a tweet. Here comes Greg Gutfeld, who calmly and humorously described The View as a cult of grievance wrapped in a bathrobe of delusion. Tyrus, who referred to it as a mercy killing of bad arguments, then delivered a knockout blow. Whoopi appeared in disbelief. The true tale? Without even being present, to men with microphones exposed a prominent member of the media. Influence is that.